But I want to do a check-in, and what I would like to know, and Joni, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have been in the era of the snake, and we're getting ready to go into the era of the horse. And the snake, Joni could tell us a little more about it because I don't like snakes, but it is about shedding and getting rid of and moving into, like you're shedding that skin. So, and the horse is all about power and, like momentum and all that stuff. So, what I want you to do is I want you to think about what is it. So I want an update and I want to know what do you feel like you've been shedding? And as we go into 2026, what is something that you feel like you're gaining momentum on and stepping into, right? Because really we have what, six six weeks left in the year.
Don't remind me. God, I haven't even
I
started
know
Christmas
you're
shopping.
heavy duty.
Like I am shedding life as I know it.
Yeah, you're a perfect one to start, Shireen.
In like so many ways.
So say
Um,
more because I've missed a few weeks.
So yeah.
oh, it's just everything, like just all the, I mean, it feels like it's been a century, but it's only been like 19 months, from, exiting and all the financial stuff and then some ups and downs. So I think one of the things you would have missed is the building that kind of triggered the
The
loss
change
of
in
the
business.
1.4 million.
Well, and actually, Shireen, I would like for you to reposition that because it
Okay.
has triggered this new understanding of who you are and what you want to
Oh,
do.
I love it. No, I'm actually like
Okay,
I do
good.
my gratitude when I go to bed and I do my gratitude when I wake up. And I'm like, I'm so grateful because I will go into this negotiation. Like I actually it was this morning. So thank you, Debbie, for the reminder of it's like the old me would have just built more chaos. Like it would have just, and so it wouldn't have like it would have seemed fun at times. It would have blah, 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 but now having been through all what feels like just shedding these layers and layers, and I joked with y'all like a year ago, I was like, oh, I've done it, I'm enlightened, and then I'm like, oh, next week, like I literally thought I was done, like I had done it, and then it was like
Don't
literally
even
like
believe it.
72 hours later,
Yeah.
it bubbles up some new layer.
Well, and Shireen, where she's going, Pam, is the guy that then said, "We don't need your services anymore." The apartment complex that kind of shifted the direction she's going, called her and said, "You were right. I want to hire you back."
Oh.
And then I got to
And
decide, do
did
I
you
want to
tell
go
him
back?
no?
Hmm.
Did you tell him no?
Well, no, at first he called. He didn't really say exactly why he called. And I do like David and enjoy talking to him. And I was like, well, I'll think about it. Like if I know somebody or if if blah, blah, blah. And he may even just do like regular 12-month leasing. And I said, I don't do that. But, I started there. So maybe I still know some people, or one of my old managers is looking for a job. Maybe she wants to shift or something like that. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, would I consider going back and under what terms? And because they are very realistic now. Like they
They've been enlightened.
they have been enlightened. And I talked to Philip, who's the financial organizer guy, and he was like, you told us. And they feel like it was almost like they were sold snake oil, which I don't think they really were. I don't think Placemaker was that. I just think they were super duper duper optimistic and ran comps on new apartments with pools and all these things. But anyway, they're doing like a third of what they promised. He said they're hitting 100% of the expenses but only a third of the revenue. So anyway, they're just really realistic. And so um I would come back in if I do just with a very low lease rate or guarantee. And then I'm really comfortable taking anything that comes in over the top because it will be because of me. Like, we now have data that shows that the building isn't the reason money comes in.
Hmm.
Um, and so just thinking about what would that look like, even if I did it short term, year, 2 years, could it bridge the gap? I'd want to do it
And
under a different brand, not my higher end brand.
And one of the things that we
So
had
anyway.
talked about too, because Shireen has been on the lookout for her hot lunch. Have you heard
Mhm.
that metaphor? Like where she used to serve, when you did events, she would serve hot lunches at these private schools and it paid the bills, right? Like it covered the stuff. And so it was easy, it was quick money, blah, blah, blah. And so
It was guaranteed, it was steady,
Hmm.
could this be the hot lunch program that then allows for her to get creative and go do these other things that she's wanting to do? And so that's what you've been kind of
And
looking
Pam,
at.
the in general, there's about a 20K a month shortage, that I'm having to cover right now. And it looks like that'll be about what this building could do. And so there's some, like when I think about it, I don't think I've talked to y'all since that, but thinking about it, it feels like it would free up about 70% of my brain. Like if I could just break even, then it feels like there'll be space to be strategic and creative. And then I had this thought in the last couple of days. It's not like I'm, because I want to be careful I'm not going back to my abuser, like so that kind of thing. But I was like, in a way, this could almost be, it could work and I could stay and do a different brand, but it also could give me a year or two to just exit easier, like to build up the new portfolio and do that.
Can we
So
go
that's
back to the
what.
word break even though?
Hmm.
Can we go
I
back to
want
the
to
word break even?
stop having to fund my company every month, but
So you mean to break the whole company to break even, not the
yeah.
project to break even? Okay.
No,
I was
that
going to say,
project
why
would
would you
be
take on the project if it's going to break
no,
even?
no, no,
Like,
no. It's
okay,
yeah,
for
because
the
I what I
company to
didn't
break even.
yeah, and you and I still need to connect, but what I didn't realize when I exited was the stability that this just kind of hot lunch, the regular, lots of cleaning fees, lots of, check-ins, check-outs, it was subsidizing a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
And
And
so
the
then
cool
when the
thing is,
subsidy program went away,
right.
I'm
Well,
like,
and the
oh
cool thing
shit.
is,
Yeah,
Shireen has a couple of staff members that one of them could really take this on as their like a big piece of their role and run it. And because that was a big conversation Shireen and I had is like, could you let this go and let somebody else run it?
I would like to let it go and someone else run it. And
Hmm.
it's simple enough that someone could. And then also, there's been so much advancement in AI over the last 19 months that the short-term rental business is using AI a lot for just those regular, like, you know, what is check-in time? Can I bring my pets? Like I would say 80% of the questions are super easy.
Hmm.
And so that is encouraging to you.
I would
Well,
look at that as part of your CRM. So,
Oh, okay.
um, so that can a bot is called a chat bot, and it can
Okay.
be a part of your CRM.
Okay.
and on that note, right, what I'd like to know, Shireen, is as we're looking at the horse, right,
Yeah.
then continue your check-in, is that when do you want to make a decision about this?
Okay. So the two things I'm waiting, I've made my list of what I think is the offer I should make. Two things. I'm waiting for Philip to give me, I've requested the financials for the last 12 months. He can't he can't or is unwilling to send me the full like P&L, but he is going to clean it up in a way that he's fine sharing. And I asked him to break it down by month. So I'm waiting on that. Then he agreed to schedule a meeting for me with Placemaker, the current people, because I'm like, how many ACs, have been replaced? What, is the condition of the elevator? Like, just some questions. Who owns the photography? Those kind of things. And then Carl does not want me to sign a lease. He doesn't want me committing to more debt while in debt. And I'll call it a story that a lease is the way to get the better pricing per month, because what David's seeking is security. But what I'm
I
what I'm
think
kind
you're
of
a proven entity to him, so I don't think you need to have
yeah, and I'm not a proven entity to Carl right now. So I am a proven financial drain to Carl right now. So what I'm thinking about is just like, hey, we're just your plan is to go just regular 12-month lease. I just want to write 12, yeah, I just want to write 12-month leases on each of these, but you're going to give me this rate because I'm going to take them all. And then you're going to do all the maintenance like you would with a normal apartment building. Like that's going to be on you. And then you're going to give me 2 or 3 months free because I got to ramp back up.
So
Like I closed
Shereen,
down
can
all
I
my
make a
operations.
recommendation to
Yep.
you? I would invite you to set a date that you want to work towards giving him this proposal.
I want to start December 1st. So like
Okay.
I want to
Well,
do
you're looking
something
at
by
about
the
a
end of
week.
this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. And then before you go do that proposal, might I recommend to you or invite you to reach out to any one of us here on this call and review it with somebody else. Get
Okay.
another set of eyes. Because what I find, like I'm getting ready to, I don't know why I hadn't thought about this before, right? My the name of my business is The Lit Up Life. My Facebook group is the Build Her Community, and then my podcast is Lead Your Life with Debbie Heiser. Why is it not The Lit Up Life, The Lit Up Life Community, and The Lit Up Life with Debbie Heiser? Doesn't make sense. So I'm getting ready to rebrand and have a
Mhm.
three-tiered approach, right, with some paid levels. And I've swung it now by two people because I want to get their take on it. And it's interesting the feedback I'm getting because I'm too
Yeah.
close to it. So
Yeah.
I would just recommend to you, like, call Pam, call me or Joni, have us like just listen to you do a quick overview of it to make sure you're not giving away too much.
Yeah, and I keep checking back on that because I can I can lean there, you
Yeah,
know. Uh-huh.
I get it. Like, ask me how I know, right? Like, we tend to
Yeah.
give too much. And
And
so,
then Rose, I had a call with her on Monday, yesterday, and she's like, he can always counter, so why would you want to
totally,
give your best thing
you
right
never
out
will.
the gate,
Yeah, don't start at the lowest level, start at the top level.
Yep.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
he may say
Um,
yes. Joni, go for it.
Right. Yeah.
First, I want to say, Shreen, I would love to listen to you, but I'm not sure I'm your gal for that. I'm not sure numbers
I
would
can
be
help
my
you run the
thing.
I
numbers.
know.
I
Okay.
was trying to
It
do
was an
math in time
obvious
zones.
choice
Took
amongst
me
the
like
three of us,
2
but I
minutes.
just didn't want to make it that obvious. Yeah.
But I also just pulled the card while you were talking,
Okay, good.
and it was lapis lazuli. Wasn't necessarily for
Bless you.
you. Huh?
I
What
said,
the
bless
hell
you.
was it?
It's the crystal gem card or the crystal card, so it was lapis lazuli.
Okay, thank you. I was like, what kind of
But
drugs are you on?
the important part is this law of known non-locality, which I've never heard of before. And so, super interesting. But the law of non-locality ensures that you can gain whatever you need that is hidden from you when your mind is in a non-ordinary state of thinking.
I was thinking about doing my
So,
mushrooms later,
so
and
you
then that would
Here we
can't,
be,
go.
so it's the thing like you can't solve a problem from the same consciousness that it was created.
yeah.
Anyway,
Will
if that
you
helps you.
will you screenshot that? Will you send it to me?
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, so I'm going to invite you to reach out to Pam and have her listen to you. Give your little spiel, and I'm happy to too, but like just to get another set of eyes on it and to
Yeah,
make
and
you feel
I
comfortable.
I again I work with an intuitive coach as well, and she kind of had this vision, this bird in a tree and up high, and so she's like they're saying like new perspectives, and that made sense because I've been talking a lot about because I do feel like when you're in the middle of it, your perspective is for lack of better words, like tainted by what you can see.
Yeah.
And so I have been going, what would it take to get like
Mhm.
out and above it, or where I could see all of it.
Yeah,
I have
Um,
also one.
honestly,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I have one other really quick tip for you when you're when you're in the numbers, you can put your hand on your right head and that will automatically shift you into like your spirit side, left side of the body, right? You've heard is feminine. And so you
mhm.
can go back and forth and this can be your like, okay, checking in with my intuition. Okay, and then your left brain will just come anyways, but this will help interrupt that and
Okay.
bring you back into your intuition when your mind gets squirrely.
Cool.
Thank you.
And I might offer up too, I love this because 18 months ago, you would have been scurrying in fear trying to get it back. And
Yeah,
that's
and
what the
I'm
like
trying to balance
about that.
between that.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like I don't want to be going back to my abuser to Pam's point. I don't want it to go work really hard to break even, like,
Right.
because I don't need to, like that just sounds like lots of work for nothing, So it does need to be profitable. It needs to solve, some problems for me. I also did some numbers today. It's a high volume, so we do between 1,000 and 1,200 reservations a year at the building. And so we charge a $25 management fee. We mark up our damage protections by $5 on a building of that size, and then early check-in, late checkout. 50, I thought we could even do $15 there, and those three things alone would produce like $50,000. Just in kind of like upsell extra little charges just due to the volume. And it's like, then I can pay one kid back, like.
Well, and I think too, Shireen, the pricing is going to be slightly different too, because you're also talking, you know, 18 months difference. And as we all know, like not in a fear base, but the price of gas has stayed fairly
Yeah.
similar, but like certain things have gone up and insurance so I think you've got a little bit of wiggle room there too.
Yeah. And I'll share one last thing before you move on. So Joni had done like what would you call that, Joni, that you walked us through with our chakras?
Oh yeah, last week.
Yeah, and so I did two more rounds after, we got off. And my question was, let me see, hear, know, feel, and understand the causes for the reasons and the reasons for the causes of this freeze. Because I feel like I just choose and freeze. And what came to me, still processing, was, oh, the universe is trying to trick me. Like it's a game. It's like, and I was like, that is fucked up, like, and then I was like, I would never do that to my kids or, like if I was, or anyone I love or I care about, like I wouldn't play little mind games. And so then I'm like, I'm making things mean things they're not, because it's sometimes it can just be a blessing, you know, or it can just be what it appears. Like I don't have to read more into it, is kind of what I came to.
Nice. Nice. Thank you.
All righty.
Let's go to Pam and then we'll go to Johnny.
Oh God, I don't even know where
Actually,
to
you still
start,
got your
y'all.
Mexico nail polish on too. I love it.
Looks good on my tan skin, right?
It
Yes,
does.
it does.
Pop.
Um, y'all, I don't even know. Um, so my retreat starts tomorrow with my team. They're all coming here to Raleigh, which will be fantastic. But I think I have to fire my HR person.
Well,
Oh no.
and why? What's happening? Why?
To make a long story very short, she's not hitting deadlines. She's not producing like she's supposed to internally. Our one client that we have is cutting his business is not doing well, so he's cutting his services from $4,500 a month to less than $1,000 a month. Um, Number one, I can't afford her. Number two, she's not delivering, right? Like we start our retreat tomorrow. She was supposed to get me the stuff that she was going to present at the retreat by the 5th. I asked her for it yesterday when I got back because I didn't have it before I went on vacation. I asked her for it yesterday and she told me it's in Canva. She didn't even give it to me. She didn't give me the link. She didn't say like, "Hey, I know I didn't get this to you before you left. I wanted to make sure it was in your inbox when you got back." Nothing. No, and that is just one example of lots where it's been those little things where it's just she does not have the same drive and the same like Crystal's having to constantly prod her for things. I had to ask her for updates on multiple things when I got back. There was no like, "Hey, just want to give you an update." Well, now that you're back, here's all the things I did while you were gone, or here's where we are on all the things. Like nothing, nothing, nothing. We're hiring, and I told her I wanted two candidates to interview on yesterday when I got back because they were supposed to be doing all the pre-screen interviews and whatever. So I want two candidates. They got what they thought was enough pre-screens. Only one candidate made it through, but they paused the hiring because they thought they had enough. And I was like, who does
They.
that?
Who's they?
her, Jimena,
Okay.
not they, but she did. And I was like, why did we pause it? I told you I wanted two people to interview from between 4 and 5 o'clock on Monday when I returned. I was very clear about that. And when I was like, where's my other candidate? They were like, that's the only one they liked. Well, I asked, I was like, is the candidate database up to date? And she said, yes. Like, cool. Well, I can see lots of things in the candidate database. People that say new need to review, people that say reviewed need to schedule. Like, if they're up to date, why aren't they moving through the process? Like, what is happening there? Oh, well, some of those people we already sent messages to ask them for an interview and they didn't respond. Well, do we need a new status for that then? Did we notate that anywhere? Is there any way that I could know that by looking at them? And what about the new people? Anyway, just really irritated about all of it, and I'm trying not to get back worked up because I've been on fire today. Um, so anyway, lots of little things that have added up to just way too much that I cannot continue to pay her what I'm paying her to have no clients. She's made no headway in marketing efforts. We were supposed to have an event today, an event with an EOS implementer. He was going to talk about right people, right seats. She was going to answer questions. I left it completely up to her to coordinate with him, to highlight, to prepare, to market, to do everything. Um, I think they had 4 people to show up. And the last time she posted about it was November 13th. And she said, I don't know why we got traction. I don't know why nobody signed up. You posted about it one time. And I was like, when I got back from vacation, I was like, have we sent this to all of our clients? Because they were the target audience. No, the answer was no. They had not sent it to our own clients. And I was like, oh my God, literally, if I could have turned green, y'all, and hulked out, I would have.
And
I was
hulked out.
so mad.
So your blood pressure went from like normal
Oh my
to
God. I was like,
Each
are you
time
fucking kidding me?
So are you getting rid of her before the retreat tomorrow?
No, no, because I think that would just completely tank the mood of the retreat. Because fortunately, whatever, however you want to see it, everybody likes her, right? I like her as a person. And I think if I were to say the day before the retreat, you're out, right? And she's also presenting some of the stuff that she's prepared. That's the stuff that I haven't had a chance to review yet because I didn't get it till yesterday, which really doesn't make me very happy.
Can I ask a
Um,
question?
yeah,
Because I don't know the answer to this. I'm not trying to be facetious, I promise.
yeah.
But like when you hired her, you were under because this is a new hire, right? Like relatively new.
She's been here since June, end of
Yeah.
May. So like 6 months.
But when you hired her, she was supposed to know how to do all of this stuff.
No. She was supposed to know how to do all of the things internally for us that she's been falling down on. And then she was willing to learn the rest of it, right? I signed her up for an emeritus program. Still haven't heard word one. Not one bit of like, what did you get out of this? Did you come up with a plan? Do you have anything? Like, we've tried to give her systems, we've tried to prod her, I've given her all kinds of resources of like, this is the way you should be posting on LinkedIn. These are the things, this is how you can do it in ChatGPT. These are the things you need to look at. Like, ad nauseum, I have given her resources, right? Like, paid for resources. I have a consultant who works with her every single week who's helping her and giving her ideas and keeping her on track. It's
Wow.
not working.
Yeah,
So I'm
sounds like
like,
it.
it's time to cut ties. I can't keep doing it financially. Like, I just can't. And so also I reached out to the guys that wanted to buy my business earlier. I said, hey, so funny thing, would love to chat. They said, we would love to chat. I was like, awesome. So there's that.
Okay,
Um,
you dropped a bomb on me.
Yeah,
Like,
what are you thinking
and
on
I
that?
buried, I
yeah,
buried
what
the
are you
lead a little
thinking on
bit.
that?
Yeah.
I'm thinking that no matter how hard I try, that I'm just done. I've lost my spark. I'm like, I've tried, like, I thought going to these conferences, right? The mastermind, the conferences, I'd come back jazzed and ready to go. And really, the whole time I was like, I don't want to do any of this anymore. I just don't like, I just don't. And so I can't fake it anymore. It's exhausting.
So
And so
what would be the exit you would consider? Or you
I
don't know
don't
yet?
know. I kind of journaled on it this morning. I would like it, and this is a very weird thing, but an agreement is something two people agree on. So if they're willing, you never know. But I was thinking I would love to bring them on kind of as partners. There's some roles right now that we need to fill. One's an entry level role and one's a reviewer role, like a technical role, and that's kind of their skill set, the two of them. Um, and so instead of hiring, I could um,
Partner.
bring them in, right? And as they learn the business and whatever. And so I would maintain control, but they would buy into the business, like essentially as partners with with a plan to pay me the rest of the money and for me to exit at some point, right? Like I would in my mind, right? I would maintain control until they've paid me at least 75%. They'd have to pay me 50% up front, but I would maintain control until they paid me 75%.
And what
And
if
then
they
I
want to
would,
pay you 100% and just say sayonara?
at this point, I would probably take it.
Well, yeah, because well, and the reason I asked that, Pam, is because if you're hating it that much, because I mean, you were dead set in London against like letting it go before you came back and kind of in a way, right? Like proved, but you've already proved that you run a successful business and you can make it super successful. And I think
Mhm.
the energy that you're bringing to it now, right, is causing that strife because you're trying, it's like you're trying to do all the things and you're not seeing an output of it, right? And it's frustrating to you. So what if why
Yeah.
even ask for a partnership? Why not just ask them to buy it out? And even if it's a little bit less than what you originally wanted.
So really, that was just, I think it's more to make the transition easier
On who?
um, on the team.
So I love you and I love your team, but also like I got to the point where I'm like, I'm done financing clients, right? Like I'm not paying 7% interest on my loan to finance somebody else's investment. So it's
Right.
like I want you to get to that place that's kind of like you can transition and it doesn't have to be buy into it now and then pay me 50, 75. It could be like you buy in, I'll stay on for 6 months and help the transition and be done with it.
Yeah. It can be. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
I know you
just,
care about these people so much, but here's the deal.
yeah.
If you believe that the universe is always for you, you have to also believe that the universe is for all of your people too,
Hmm.
right? And they're either going to get on board and love it, which might be a little bit of a fear too, right? Because the mama bird that you are, right?
Not really,
Well,
because then I would be like, sweet, I'm
right.
out.
Right.
Right.
But in
If they're
like there
miserable,
might be
I'm going to feel
some.
bad leaving them.
Well, there could be some subconscious things, but in a way, Pam, no offense, but if you're vibrating at this vibration where you're just done, it's actually a disservice to them.
I know. And I finally just like gave into it. And I'm like, okay, like I mean, and I've known it for a long time.
So I just
But
would
I was
invite
like,
you,
I can fight this. I can fight this. I can get back there. I can,
yeah,
I can level up. I can get back there. I can change my energy. It's not working. Like
yeah.
I think when I think I told you guys this when I first started thinking about selling my business, I started thinking of all the other things I could do. And it was like, no, 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 I got to shut that down because if I do that, I'm a doer. I'm gonna start and I'm gonna get excited about it, and then I'm gonna be upset that I can't have that.
Mhm.
That's exactly where I am right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Because your subconscious keeps
Because
answering.
yeah, because I keep wanting to think about all the possibilities and then getting sucked back into the reality of like, nope, you're stuck. And it feels very stuck. And so like
Yeah.
I just need to shed that, shed that
So
skin.
you are shedding that skin just like a big old honking snake, a big python,
Mhm.
or what are those anacondas that are in the right? But what I really want to invite you into is you don't have to rescue your team.
Yes, correct.
Rescue yourself, right? Like do what feels good for you. And I get that part of what feels good is making sure there's a good transition, but I don't think you have to maintain control. I think you can just give it to them, like let them buy it. And they may say to you, we don't really need you as a transition. And you'll go through a little bit of like, even though you want out, right? But they may say to you, yeah, can you stay on for 6 months? Because we'd like for you to help transition these things. But it's hard, Pam, to transition. I had a friend that
I
is
know.
actually the precipice of why I started this. She came to me and said, can you help me sell my business in 3 years? I said, sure. She sold it within 12 months. But then she
Because
signed a
once you make the
contract.
decision,
Absolutely, right? And then, but what happened is then she signed the contract that she would stay on for 3.5 years to transition all the clients and everything because it was insurance. And she was freaking miserable the last 18 months.
yeah.
Miserable. And she finally said, forget it. I don't need the bonus to stay. I'm done. Right. And so don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, what we talked about
I'm
initially was 3 to 6 months. I was like, I said beyond 6 months is too long because
yeah.
the team would still be coming to me, right? And not
Mm.
be switching over to like
Yeah.
your, like, so I said, that's too long. Anything
Yeah.
over 6 months would be too long. But that's why at first, I was thinking like if I could bring the partners in as an energy boost, right? Like because they're gung ho and ready to go, right? Like
So let them
I
come in
could
and run the business.
stay high level and maybe get the number I want.
So Pam, yeah, you just have to figure out what are they willing to pay you now and what would they be willing to pay you because ultimately it might not be worth $200,000,
Right,
right? I'm just pulling that number out of the air, but
right. I get what you mean. Yeah,
because they're going to come in and want to start running it, right? So then there creates some dichotomy of tension versus just giving them the reins and saying, what do you need from me to transition?
yeah,
I'm also going to share a couple things that have come up for me over time where the thought of it was way worse than the actual thing of it. And I'm sure we've all had moments of this. So one was
Never.
selling a business, my catering event management company. And I thought my clients would be so upset and I was stranded, la, la, la. No one gave a shit. Like and once I sold, I didn't look back. My clients, they either stayed with the company or like it literally was no big deal. Then when we left Ben for the first time. He was just 6, 7 months old, and Carla and I took a trip, and you had to sign all these documents and medical releases. I literally like left him with a stranger, like a referral. And I was so in angst leaving, and we got on the plane. I'm like, I'm good, he's there, I'm here, and we're moving on, and so that's always been a good lesson, like just the thought of it all can become a bigger
Yeah.
thing than the actual thing ever would be.
yeah, yeah. I think my biggest
And
hang up
and
is that like
another thing I wanted to say that came to mind. I perceive your employees care for you as much as you care for them,
Mhm.
and they could also be so excited for you to go on to your next chapter and do your next thing, like almost like they gifted that to you, like the freedom to go do that. And we'll keep on going here. I don't know if that rings true or not, but I just had to like,
I mean, in a perfect world, yes. I think they would
yeah,
want to feel that way. Um,
yeah. But in a moment, they probably are happy. Like if they see pictures of you on the beach and your new house and, all the stuff that's going on, that probably warms their heart.
And in some ways too, Pam, it is a subconscious where sometimes, like your identity is in caring for them as a team. And so sometimes unwinding that from your identity, then it's like, oh crap, who am I? And I know there's an excitement about it too, but there is a subconscious like hanging on to, right? That I
mhm.
like this hanging on to energy about like I'll maintain control and you come in and take 50% and then like and making it complex. And again, I'm not pushing you to say just sell the damn thing and get out, but I think that is the best route for you. But like you know, like I think there's some of this unwinding that's wanting you to stay in this control piece of it, where I think Shireen is right. Like I think they're going to be happy. Sure, they're going to be nervous and scared because it's new people, and there'll probably be a little bit of attrition. That's fairly normal, right? Um,
Yeah,
but I think it's letting go of the fact that they're still going to be okay without you. And there might
yeah,
be a little bit of subconscious in there that's a little nervous about that too, right? Yeah. Well, that's exciting that you're having those conversations.
We'll see. I mean, he
Well, you
one of
reached out
the
and they
one
were
who
like,
responded,
yes.
his wife just had a baby, so he's like, "Could we do it next week? Because we're gonna be in the hospital for a few days." I was like, "Absolutely." And really, there's no like next week's a holiday week, so please, like, get your family settled. We can talk later. It's fine. Just let me know it works. Go ahead,
I mean,
Jen.
you can just talk.
I'm raising my full hand. It's hard to talk. It's a little
I
hard.
know,
It's like,
right? We get to going. The
um,
introvert has to jump in.
um, I think like I was gonna say a little bit like how Debbie was saying. I think that that would be really valuable for you to really lean in to your worth and your identity when nothing depends on you and only you.
That sounds amazing.
Because no, I think there's a, like, in honesty, there's a piece of your worth. Like, there's a piece of that, like we talked about it in Hastings a little bit, right? Like, with all of
Hmm.
the changes in your life, where does that leave you? And where does it leave your worth? Because your identity has been taking care of your family and these people in your business and
Hmm.
putting all of that energy into your business. And so now your identity is going to be a person who, I don't know who that identity is. But if you can solidify that a bit, you can play in that energy of, I am the person that just sold a million, like, however, I don't know how much you're asking, I have no idea, $1 million business.
Hmm.
And now I
I get
get
to go on an adventure
to
and unload
play
this
with
treasure chest.
my family at our new house. Like, it's just like, it's like, even like you were talking about on your vacation, right? The like having to take care of your adult children. I get it. I'm not saying that that's not true, but like the next time you go, that probably won't be true. Right. And so it's like shifting that identity of what
Hmm.
it looks like and what your true responsibility is, um, which is you, right? Like, and your worth isn't things you do or things you don't do. It's there, you were born with it. And finding ways to see that moving forward,
Hmm.
because it will change the energy of the cell, it will change the energy of your team, it will change the energy of the new buyers, it will change all of the energy if you can hold the higher vibration of how amazing things are going to be versus all the ways that it could fall apart.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I've been avoiding that because
Yeah.
then I get like caught up in the like, ooh, I could do all those things and I can, and then I start planning, right? And then when it's like, you got to answer an email, you got to, team emergency. And then it sucks me back in, and then I feel even worse because I'm like, oh yeah, that's not reality yet, right? Like, so I've been
It's teaching you.
avoiding to be like, I don't want to see that yet.
But
Yeah.
that's the contrast that you can learn from then. You get to then be like, oh, I that's still a piece of me not healed. That's still a piece of me I can look at and be like, oh, is my value wrapped in that?
Yeah.
Invitation. You don't have to do anything I say.
Yeah, because I think it does seem like there's a dichotomy of tension, and that's kind of where I was getting to around this whole like identity piece, right? And thinking about how excited you feel over here, like to me, that's worth money, right? Like having them just come in and take over and giving them 3 months to transition and then be on a 3 month retainer where they can call you about anything,
Right.
then you're over here, right? Like, whoo, that feels very different.
And then what happens if you're over there and the email comes in and you go, I don't give a fuck. And you just answer it in 3 seconds, and you just go right back. I mean, like,
Uh,
Figure
I
yeah,
the
mean,
fuck
so
out.
seriously though, what happened?
Yeah. I don't know, but so many, when I have this conversation with, I've had it with a couple of people now, and they say like, well, why can't you just maintain ownership and hire somebody to run it? And I'm like, because I need that clean break. I need to like,
Doesn't
because
work for you.
what if I hire somebody to run it and then they leave? Right? I'm sucked right back in. And I was like, that is not
And
what I want to.
frankly,
And
it's a
that
little,
feels like a weight around my neck.
yes. And frankly, it's a little bit of the same conversation I had with Shireen and Ask Me How I know, right? In the fact that can you let it go?
I
Right?
can't.
And
I
feeling
know
a
I
little
can't.
bit, right, that it's even hard for you to let it go to have somebody else just come in and buy it versus no,
Yeah.
phase it off. Just cut the ties, man. Because the
Yeah.
more and more you like grasp it, the more you're killing it. You're choking it energetically, right?
Yeah. No. And I just can't get to the place where it feels fun anymore. Like
Yeah.
I'm excited about the retreat because I want to see everybody. But like literally I'm sitting at these conferences going like, "Ugh, I don't have to do that."
So let that be your guide, right? And I just really would invite you into like your identity is going to come to you because you're so excited about figuring that out that it's that Raiders of the Lost Ark stepping onto that next stone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also love Joni's Show Me How Good It Can Get.
Mhm.
So I'm using that on the regular now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, ugh, I don't want to spend too much time there because then I have to
So,
come
but
back to
here's the
reality.
thing, Pam. Here's the thing. That is reality if you let it. Meaning that if you let it be like, you know what, this is worth me not selling it for exactly what I wanted to sell it for 6 or 7 months ago, that you will make that money back 10 times full because you're going to be vibrating at such a higher level over here. And so up until this point, because you weren't aware, but that is reality for you. And because you're choking yourself off of not being able to go into that dreaming and into that fun phase,
Hmm.
it's making it worse over here. So, like, envision what that feels like to be in that space over here, right? And then figure out how much is that worth.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like, Pam, if you do spend more time there, the emails really don't probably disturb you as much. Like it eventually it will feel kind of like, oh, that's just a little side blip, not a suck back into it. Because you'll align the level of energy it needs because you've already said I'm not trying to rebuild the business, I'm not building this big empire, I'm not trying to increase the revenue by 30%, and like it sounds like you've come to peace with letting that I'm going to bring it back to life even bigger and better
I've
go.
just decided I'm not the person to do that.
Yeah, and so that way, so then sometimes these won't be sucked back in. It's just I gotta dot that I, cross that T, and then just keep living in the other side while you're dotting I's and crossing T's.
And
Now,
you
if you're
have
going to
been
build a
the
big
person,
thing, then you got to get back in it. But if you're not
yeah.
building the big thing,
And you have been the person that's built it to where it's at, where these guys are excited about coming in and buying
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I was kind of pumped that they weren't like, sorry, we already bought something.
Yeah.
Because I was like, hey, so just got
And
back from a bunch of conference
so
travel and vacation and was wondering.
And so I'm going to invite you,
We
Pam,
should
that
resume our
after
conversation.
you start to think about what would work for you, what you're available for and what you're not available for in this sale, to run it by those of us on the phone, right? Because again, like it was so cute hearing you say, "Oh yeah, I want them to come in as a partner and then they can buy in like 50%, but I'll still control it." And then like that's this up here. Like
Hmm.
part is asking you to think about what do you really want, right? And it's the longer you stay in it with managing control, just give up the control.
Yeah.
In my mind, that's part of what the
That's the
universe
hardest
is.
part.
I know. And it
That's
feels like
really what I
that's
don't
what
want
the
to give up. It's not the
universe,
identity, it's the control.
Well, that's your
right, which is
identity.
a part of your
Oh, yeah.
identity. And
Yeah.
for me, that's what it feels like the universe is really trying to teach you. Like, let it go. Like, just the control of it. Somebody else can take control because you've even said, your mature adult just said, I'm not the person that wants to take it there. You could, you have the ability to, you just don't want to. And that's
Hmm.
okay. Right. And admitting that takes a lot of courage. And that's CEO kind of thinking. That is ownership type of thinking. Right. And so now being able to gift your team to leaders that are super jazzed about it, like you were when you first started this business. What
Hmm.
a gift to them.
Do you remember when you learned how to ride a bike without training wheels?
Hmm.
And like, were you scared to take off the training wheels?
Of course.
Yeah. And so it's like, and the other analogy that comes in, which is like a little extreme, but I think it came from Shireen talking about the abuser. But it's like it's sometimes it's more comfortable, ask me how I know, to stay in a marriage that's done, right? Than to step out because you're comfortable in the comfort. Like there's
Hmm.
enough of a comfort there. And this is my MO of leaving things as well. It's extreme frustration until you just can't fucking take it anymore. And I think
Yeah.
there's a more graceful way to do that. And so the invitation is there for you to let the pull you instead of the push you. And that's the
Yeah.
same with riding the bike, right? If you just let the bike go, it'll go instead of trying to control it.
Yeah, and if you think
Yeah.
about it, usually one of your parents was on the back pushing you, and then they got to the point where they weren't pushing you, they just were kind of hanging on, and you thought they were still hanging on and they had let go.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll
I'm
see. Lots of
excited
exciting
for
things to
you.
come.
I
But
know.
So
I'm,
excited.
first I have to fire somebody again.
I know. Well, we're both getting ready to do
You
that.
have to let someone free to go do their thing.
So